V with me, and I am so excited. I was on her podcast not long ago, and it was so much fun. And I am so excited to have you here with me today. So I'm going to ask you if you please just tell our audience a little bit about you, what you do, and then you have to include one thing we're not going to know about you by your bio or your website.
Oh goodness, what a great question. I love that so much. Okay, so basically I'm V and I basically help businesses turn dreams into reality. And what does that mean? I help everything with the tech side from streamlining sales and also helping out with sales as well. So everything related to sales, automation is all about me, right? So tech, landing pages, websites, all that kind of fun techie stuff. And then helping the people side as well. So implementing the tech and getting out there and, talking to people. So that's basically me in a nutshell. What's the one thing that people don't know about me? Oh gosh. Um, oh, I do regular singing lessons. Well, I haven't now because of the last 4 months because of my baby, but I used to do singing lessons for like 5 years every single week because I love it. And it's the one thing in my life that I don't have a goal for. It's just for fun.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah.
I've been talking about doing singing lessons because I sing in my church. And I've
Amazing.
never taken singing lessons. And to be really honest with you, I don't, it's like not something that I've aspired to do, but we
Yeah.
started off as a really small church and I had to because it was just
Yeah.
so expensive. So now I do it. I should probably grab some lessons too. Be more effective.
Oh, as long as you kind of just do the singing, I think it's just fun, there's no need to do lessons unless you're probably already good, Tish. Gosh, that's
It depends on who you ask.
yeah.
Well, tell me, how did you get started in sales? Because number one, you're my soul sister because I know I love that you do the technology part and help people to automate. But how did you even get involved in this industry at all?
Yeah, great question. So I think one, I've always been like a kind of techie sav, so tech's always been easy for me. But more importantly, I think where it all started was maybe 7, 8 years ago. I started my first health coaching business, all online. And so on that, I did a course all about marketing and sales. And that's where I excelled. I learned all the tricks of the trade as to how to market yourself online, landing pages, all that kind of fun stuff. And I was really good at it, right? I was just good at it. I had people coming in, leads, more leads that I could handle. And so then my other business partners or the people who were doing the courses with me would ask me how to get set up with their landing pages and their marketing. And so I just organically did that for them, helped them out just for fun. And then I realized, oh, this could be a thing. And then I got clients, funnily enough, just along the way. And so it took me maybe 4 years, 5 years to actually realize, actually, this could be a thing. I think I'm good at this. So that's kind of where it all started. And so it's funny how the universe comes to you and gives you signs where you should kind of go. And so organically over the last 5, 7 years, lots of different projects, people, things that have happened in my life have gotten me to where I am today. And it's all kind of come down to marketing, doing someone's website and talking about sales. It's really weird.
I love it. So tell me this because I already know, because I've been talking to you for a while now, that you're really good at what you do. Would you be willing to share what do you feel like is your biggest sales challenge? Like all of us have our Achilles heel, right? There's things that
Yeah.
we really thrive at, and then there's things that's like, I don't really want to do that part. What do you feel like is your biggest sales challenge?
Challenge. Do you mean getting 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 sales? Is that right? Or helping
Yeah,
other
or the
people?
thing that you don't like to do for yourself.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Oh, this is really funny. Because because I love sales and streamlining. But the funniest thing is I cannot be bothered to do it for myself sometimes.
And I completely understand that for sure.
It's so funny. Yeah. So I'm like really good at make sure you do this, this, this. But when it comes to me and maybe like my business, maybe my life, it's like, it's fine. You'll do this another time, that kind of thing. So not everything in my life is streamlined. However, I do advocate it. And I'm really good at setting things up for other people.
It's funny you say that because it's going to take me down another rabbit hole, but I think it's a really good conversation to have
Yeah.
because you're like me. I love it. And I can see in someone else's business the gaps. I can see where they need to be doing this, that, or the other. And for my own business, sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle. I was talking with one of my business colleagues recently, and I was telling her about this. I was telling her I haven't really marketed this class I'm teaching, or whatever. And she asked me this question. I'm going to ask you this as well, or if you know why
Yeah.
why that is an issue. Because
Yeah.
she asked me, she said, "So what story are you telling yourself?" And I was like,
Ooh.
that was a deep question, but it really caused me to realize why I wasn't doing it
Mm.
for myself. So have you ever explored that? Do you know why it is that you love doing it for other people, but maybe don't love doing it for yourself, or maybe just don't feel it as a priority to do it for yourself?
Yeah, great question. Great question. I love it. I think why I love doing it for others because I love seeing how it works, how it clicks together, and how it helps them free the time, energy, money, effort. Like I love seeing that outcome. Why I don't do it for myself? Great question. Goodness. Okay, all right. Okay. What's coming up is because I don't see that freedom, money, energy thing for myself. I've always been go hustler, kind of like back end, do. And so I'm sort of used to that. And I think one of the things I've realized, a few years ago was I don't want that anymore. But the habits are still there, right? Like it's kind of slowly petering away the hustle mentality. I think I need to shift that. I think I need to start streamlining things. So that way I can allow myself to give me my own freedom, my own energy and like, you know, lifestyle shift. I think that's where I can explain it the best.
I love that answer. It's so real, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think we all have in sales again, we have the skill set, and sometimes I think what happens is our mindset gets in the way. And
Yeah.
it's important, I think, for us to make those acknowledgments because then we can understand what our clients are really dealing with and how to best help them.
Mm.
Um, and when I had to face that question for myself, I was like, what story am I telling myself?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I realized that I had some of my own blocks like you. It's like I do what's easier. It's easier for me to go and build someone else's sales process because I can see it. But if I look at mine, I gotta face where my own problems are sometimes, right?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And so like that's funny because I just have a new team member on board and I number one thing for her was to streamline the business. And so what was coming up for me was like letting go. Some of the tasks that I would do on a daily basis, I would be like, oh, but then I'm like, no, V, like she's got this, Oh, good, no need to micromanage or have that control. And I think it's funny you say that. It does make me look inside to see, okay, what is it that really is stopping me from scaling? And funnily enough, I noticed that in my clients as well. Sometimes it's not a money issue to just outsource something, right? It's just that, oh, I'm not quite sure if I'm ready
Yes.
take it to the
Yeah.
next phase. And that's scary, Tish. You
It
would know
is.
that. Yeah,
It
yeah,
is. And you
yeah.
said it really well. It's a control mechanism sometimes because even if it's not working and I'm not seeing the results I want, I still got a hold of it and I know what to expect. But when I release it and I'm trying something new, which is leading me to my next question for you, I'm trying something new and I'm trusting someone else to maybe guide me through the process or even do it for me.
Mm,
And I gotta be like, oh my God, I don't know what to expect because I don't have the control. So being able to
mm,
release, whether we're hiring a new sales professional, whether we're
yeah.
doing it for ourselves and doing something differently, those
Mm,
things really play a big role.
mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about how you work with your clients because when we say automate, it means very different things to different people.
Yeah.
Um, and some people don't even really associate the technology with the sales portion. So how would you describe the way that you work with clients and even who's an ideal client for you?
Yeah, great question. So I guess starting with the last question, my ideal client is anyone who's been in business, like at least 5, 10K a month, right? They've got some runs on the board. And so they're just looking to streamline and just make things easier. And they want to step back from the doing and the employee position and step up into the CEO sort of position in a business, right? So that's kind of like my fun point, or they have a team and they want to streamline things. So funnily enough, automation, it's a combination of tech, systems, processes, and people. I was talking to someone the other day. It's funny how you say, Tish, they've got some people don't think of the tech,
Mhm.
right? I was talking to that other someone and he didn't even think about the people. And so
Wow.
so he has all his tech automated and he wanted every single process to be automated. Whereas some of the steps that we need to do, for example, update a client status from, qualified to not qualified or something like that, that could only be done by the person talking on the phone, right? But he wanted to automate that somehow. And he's like, but people are unreliable. And I was like, well, actually, hello, it's like we need to combine people, processes, and tech to get automation. And so I think where I come from is those three things combined is
Yeah.
automation. When you have someone who you rely on, who in the back of your head can do the job and do it well, and they're empowered and they feel good about their job, that's a form of automation as well, which I think isn't spoken about where the clients with the clients I have.
I love that. First of all, those of you all who are listening, take a moment, rewind, and listen to what she just said again, because people forget the person, right? The people component is one of the most important pieces.
Absolutely.
And we think automation is all technology, hands off, right? No high touch. And that's not the case. And I love the way that you said that, because you're right. If you have the right person that has the right tools and understands the processes, that's a part of the automation. And it causes you to have that repeatable success in your sales. So glad that you, so glad that you shared that. Tell us a little bit about what relationship building really looks like in your world and the way that you operate, the way that you do, sales in your business.
I think the relationship building for me, the one word that comes up is transparency. Full transparency in expectations, the process, what's going to happen next, expectation of what could potentially go wrong and what we do about it, and transparency in where we are in the process. So when we start something, I find, something as simple as if they email you, and even if you can't get back to them, I'll be getting back to you in 24 hours. Is full transparency. I'm busy, this, that. But it just gives you that clear communication. And then the client's like, okay, she's doing X, Y, Z. I find that where things go not so good and the relationship kind of falls is when I don't communicate that I'm a little bit busy. I'm with my newborn for a second, like when the tech's gone wrong in the back end, something like that. I just find how I build relationships is just pure transparency. This is me. I'm fully open and transparent, really, to listen to what you have to offer. And let's build from that point.
Oh my God, this is so good. And I am so pleased because, again, nobody's talking about those parts of it. We always talk about the front end, the building relationships as it pertains to getting the client, right? All of that it's great, because then you're like, okay, I got your credit card, I got your money, now we're friends, right? No.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you maintain that relationship and really build from there so that they understand what's going next? Because if someone's not wondering what to expect, they can begin to build the trust. Whereas when they're not clear on what to expect, they're making a story up in their own mind.
Yeah.
What's happening, and that is so powerful. And how do we make that part more automated so that it's very clear? Because it sounds to me, what I kind of hear from that is my onboarding process is transparent, my sales process, how I help my clients, all of that is kind of laid out. What would you recommend, someone who's like hearing this and going, oh my God, I need to do that? What are some of the things that they might be able to put in place that's going to help them to kind of take a little bit of a step back, but still make sure they're being transparent in that relationship?
Yeah. I think transparency comes from a multiple folds. So I think to be transparent, you, owner, the business, have to be transparent themselves. And what I mean by that is you need to know inside out where you're coming from and what processes are there, what processes aren't there, what the issues are, what the pain points in the business are, like full understanding where your own pain point is. Because from that point, I'm a big fan of mapping things out, so for example, if it's a sales issue, it's funny because most of the time a sales issue isn't a sales issue, it's a person issue or a tech issue, that.
Right, yes.
It's about mapping that out. So I think going back to your question, it's like, what's the recommendation? Map your processes out. If you don't have a process, map what processes need to be in place, or are in place and aren't implemented, that kind of thing. So just map out everything end to end, from when a client, you meet a client, all the way through to when they finish with you or when they sign up with you again. Map everything out. And that's where your transparency starts, seeing your business top down, and then doing a bit of a, traffic light system, red, blue, red, green, yellow. Where are
Yes.
things at on that point? So I think that's a form of transparency, seeing where everything is at, all the little nitty gritty corners, and feel free to dive into everything at the start. So that way you can prioritize what to do next.
I love that. How would you then communicate that to the client, what they should be expecting next? Is there a way that we should be doing that in the contract, or should it be maybe in a portal where they kind of like they finish something and then they kind
Yeah.
of understand what's happening next? How would you communicate that to a client?
Multiple folds. Like you can do it, for example, with my sales process, I don't communicate the next step until they ask for the next step. So, that's kind of in the call, I guess, so the get to know you call, where we're putting out the issues, and then they're like, okay, now what? Right. So that's when I provide them with a roadmap, like 1, 2, 3. That could be visual. I always find visual helps.
Yeah.
Just put it on like PowerPoint, Canva, it doesn't matter. Or even just 1, 2, 3. This is the next step of working together. And then obviously you're talking them through it. I think it's really important that it gets spoken on as well. And then like confirm it via written email. They know exactly the next steps. And then continuously, as they progress with the next step, remind them what the next step is. Go back to that roadmap and then continuously refer to that roadmap, because that won't change. What will change is how we get there sometimes. But that roadmap is that key point and that agreement that you have with the client.
Wonderful. What would you say has been the biggest, let me be real clear, the biggest sales flop that led to your biggest breakthrough? And what I mean by that is I've had, we used to do done for you sales, right? And that was great, but it was very high overhead. It was very labor intensive, and began to become a problem. I felt like I was babysitting and holding hands more so than serving. And
Yeah.
it became a problem, but it led to me understanding a better way to be able to
Yeah.
serve my clients. So it was a breakdown, but it led to a breakthrough. What would you say your biggest breakdown was that led to your biggest breakthrough?
My biggest breakdown was, okay, soft skill, not listening and
Mhm.
having my own assumption as to what the client wants and needs.
Okay.
Active listening was not a thing for me 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like actual active listening, like really genuinely understanding where the prospect, where the client is at, what their pain problems are, and really feeling it, right? With them. So I think for me, I've had times when I first started my health coaching business, I was on a call and I would just tell them, like, I wouldn't understand why they would be so in pain as to why they were gaining so much weight. For example, for me, it was like easy. I just didn't get it, right? And for them, they just didn't understand. They got offended. And so the call didn't end up in a sale, right? They just kind of got to a point where it's like resistance, 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 resistance. And I kind of faced that every single time I chat to them and throughout the whole entire call. So I think that happened a lot. And obviously business wasn't happening for me because I was on so many calls and no sales were happening. So what was the biggest flop? Not listening and not having the open ears to the client on the other side was my biggest flop. That led to my breakthrough eventually, when I realized, you know what, I should be doing something differently to get a different outcome.
That is so good, because I would say probably, I want to say the stats say that 1 out of every 3 sales professional doesn't ask the right questions and doesn't listen actively, so
Yep.
that they can really get to the real issue, so that they
Yep.
can actually provide a great solution. I'm so glad that you shared that, because again, I'm thinking if people are really hearing that and understanding there's an opportunity to improve their listening
Mm.
skills, then we can
Mm-hmm.
really have a better experience with our client, and our clients will have a
Yes.
better experience, because number one, you said it really powerfully, that you would actually feel it with them, not just listen,
Mm.
but actually feel it with them, because now you're, I think, empowered and motivated to serve them better, right? To serve them more, in a way that we probably couldn't if we only had a educational,
Yep.
understanding, like a high
Yep.
level understanding, but if we can
Yep.
look deeper, it makes us more inclined to help them better.
Yeah.
I already can tell that we're going to need a second part to this because the time goes by so fast, so fast. But I do want to understand, what did you have to get past beyond, maybe, maybe you shared a little bit already about it, but what do you feel like you've had to really overcome to get to your current level of success?
Um, again, I think I'm gonna go back to me. Like I had to overcome me, my ego, my previous stories, my previous beliefs, and my previous understandings of what life and people are. I think one of the biggest things that I've noticed when I was just starting out is, I wanted to attract people who are like me, exactly like me, and why aren't people thinking the way I think? And so that was completely unrealistic. Not everyone needs to have so much energy at 4 a.m. in the morning. It's just unrealistic. So I think what I had to um overcome was me. Look past me and look at you as a person. Like Tish, I see you. Like,
Yeah,
who are you as a person? And
yeah.
so that made things so much easier. It actually helped me relieve a lot of pressure on myself and think this is not about me. I'm actually genuinely helping the client out or the prospect out and really understanding where they're coming from. So then potentially my solution is the right solution for them. If not, that's okay. There's other solutions out there for them. And so that kind of just takes the whole load off me as a salesperson and purely puts me into a position where I'm just channeling their problem to the solution. That's it.
So good, so good. We definitely, absolutely need a part two.
Yeah.
So tell me, if someone is looking for the solution you provide, what types of things might they be Googling right now? What are some of the statements or the phrases they
Yeah.
might be Googling to look for someone who does what you do?
Yeah. So some of the statements was I need more like leads. I just need more leads. Another thing is I don't know what I'm doing right now. I've got so many things coming through and I just can't keep up. I think that's the biggest thing that comes with my clients. I just can't keep up. You've got clients coming in or you've got, too many admin tasks. It's just I can't keep up. I'm feeling overwhelmed, techie, and my business isn't going where I want it to go.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So that person who's Googling those things right now, how would they find you? What is the way you want people to reach out to you?
Yeah, so I'm usually hanging out on Instagram or my Facebook. I'll drop the Facebook below. And also my website is www.vrsandco.com.au. And you can find all my information and all the freebies and everything in there. But that's the best place to find me.
Wonderful. All of that will be in the show notes so you all can click it and get in touch with V. I have so enjoyed our time together. This has been so good. And I cannot wait for part two. We will definitely put that on the because there's so much more that I think we can dive into. But I want to make sure that I've really enjoyed our time together and I can't wait to talk to you again.
Thanks, Tish. I had a great time. Thank you so much for hosting the show.
Oh, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.